Hello. Sorry. Let's see, I'm 4 minutes late. But here's the reason. The reason is coffee. Hi, Joe. How are you? Bobby, Natalia, hi. I'm just gonna get settled in here. Hello, is that Hadley? Hello. Hi, Chris. Hi, Ash. Just waiting. Okay. Hello, happy Thursday. Hi, Shay. I'm crooked here. This is not gonna make me happy. Okay, there we go. It's kind of dreary out, but you know what? What better than books on a dreary day? I'm gonna start by going back a little bit to yesterday because as I rewatched my video from yesterday over and over and over and over again, waiting for it to load all the places it was loading, I realized I wanted to make a couple of things clear. So we're gonna try this with audience participation. So get ready, get your thumbs ready. You can't hear the stream, Ash. Can everyone else hear me? Ash, make sure that if you're watching on a phone, make sure that it's not on vibrate. Sometimes that happens to me. Okay, Hadley can hear me. Or like maybe try logging out, closing the app and logging back in. Those would be my 2 suggestions. You work on that, my friend. I will be here, okay? So yesterday with Kim, I wanted to make sure we were all understanding what Kim's motivation was. So she said, I stood before our family altar. It was dawn. In her Vietnamese culture, an altar is what you put up for somebody who is gone. Hi, Bobby. So she is celebrating or like remembering her father on the day of his death. And she said, she talks about her mom crying and she talks about her sister crying, but she says, my own tears had come then as well, but for a different reason. So I'm wondering if you guys kind of picked up what is her feeling here. It's in like the last 2 paragraphs of the text. She talks about why she starts this garden. Ash wants to be in my video, and you know what, Ash? We're gonna try this. Oh, no, never mind. Okay. I don't know if you guys have the text open in front of you. I will, in case you don't, I will reread it. If you would like to, I have put this on Classroom. I believe it's under remote learning. Yes, it is. It's the first thing in remote learning. So, you can always pop that open while we're doing this. Hey, Olivia. So I'm going to reread the last 2 chapters of the last 2 paragraphs of Kim's chapter because I think it's important for us to really understand this first chapter, like where this whole community garden comes from. So, Paul Fleischman writes, I dug 6 holes. All his life in Vietnam, my father had been a farmer. So her father was you can type in there, it'll pop up. Here, our apartment house had no yard, but in that vacant lot he would see me. He would watch my beans break ground and spread, and he would notice with pleasure their pods growing plump. He would see my patience and my hard work. I would show him that I could raise plants as he had. So her father is you're answering the question. And also, I'm interested in making sure that you know why she is planting these dried lima beans in the garden. So I'm going to give you a chance to answer that. Why did she choose to start this community garden? What is the connection to her father there? Take a sip of my coffee. It's coffee this morning, friends. That's the kind of day it is, as you can see, drinking from the same jars that I drink from at school. Ash, are you? Oh, Ash is gone. Okay. All right. So her father is a farmer and he's passed away, and he actually passed away before she was born, and so she wants to get his attention by starting this community garden, and they can't plant it in the community garden because they don't have, or they can't plant it in the backyard because they don't have a background. A backyard. You guys, I should have had the coffee before the live stream. Okay, so this morning's chapter is Anna. Pardon my book. This is actually the writing of another teacher, my own 7th grade English teacher. This is her old book. Today's chapter is Anna. Here, I'll give you a good, you can see Anna. And she's an older woman, so we're gonna hear her story. And so this is, again, we're talking about the same community garden, and we're seeing multiple perspectives of the community garden throughout the whole book. So no more Kim by Kim. Her part is over, except that we are going to sort of see Kim through Anna's eyes. Anna. I do love to sit and look out the window. Why do I need TV when I have 48 apartment windows to watch across the vacant lot and a sliver of Lake Erie? I've seen history out this window. So much. I was 4 when we moved here in 1919. The fruit sellers' carts and coal wagons were pulled down the street by horses back then. I used to stand just here and watch the coal brought up by the handsome lad from Groza, the village my parents were born in. Gibbs Street was mainly Romanians back then. It was addio, goodbye, in all the shops when you left. Then the Romanians started leaving. They weren't the first or the last. This has always been a working class neighborhood. It's like a cheap hotel. You stay until you've got enough money to leave. A lot of Slovaks and Italians moved in next, then Negro families in the Depression. Gibbs Street became the line between the blacks and the whites, like a border between countries. I watched it happen through this very window. So she's talking about the time in the 1950s, like mid-20th century, where neighborhoods were very segregated and black families were not allowed to move into specific neighborhoods. So it was like legally separated and segregated. And so she's also talking about how long she's been here and all the different groups she's seen come through the neighborhood. I lived over in Cleveland Heights for 18 years. Then I moved back in to take care of my parents. That border moved too. Most all the whites left. Then the steel mills and factories closed and everybody left, like rats. Buildings abandoned. Men with no work drinking from 9 to 5 down there in the lot. Always the sirens, people killing each other. Now I see families from Mexico and Cambodia and countries I don't know. 12 people sometimes in one apartment. New languages in the shops and on the street. These new people leave when they can, like the others. I'm the only one staying. It's so, staying and staring out this same window. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, she's living in the same place that she grew up in. It seems like her parents lived there, she grew up with them, she moved out, and then when her parents were getting older, she moved back in to take care of them, and that's where she still lives, it would seem. This spring I looked out and saw something strange. Down in the lot, a little black-haired girl hiding behind that refrigerator. Alright, so now she's seeing Kim. Down in the lot, a little black-haired girl hiding behind that refrigerator. Remember, it mentions, I think something bounces off the refrigerator in Kim's chapter. Anyway. She was working at the dirt and looking around suspiciously all the time. Then I realized she was burying something. I had never had children of my own, but I've seen enough in that lot to know she was mixed up in something she shouldn't be. And after 20 years typing for the parole department, so she works for the court system, I just about knew what she'd buried. Drugs, most likely, or money, or a gun. The next moment, she disappeared like a rabbit. I thought of calling up the police. Then I saw her there the next morning, and I decided I'd solve this case myself. We know what she buried. What did she bury down in the vacant lot? She told us in the last chapter, right? So it's not guns, it's not drugs, it's not money. We had a long spell of rain then. I didn't set eyes on her once. Then the weather turned warm, and I saw her twice more, always in the morning, on her way to school. What does she probably do? What is Kim probably doing down there? She's planted these lima beans, and now she's probably, what do plants need to survive, aside from sunlight? So she's probably watering them, right? Great. I'm just imagining that you're all answering me with the correct answers, and it's going great for me. Okay. She was crouched down with her back to me, so I couldn't see just what she was doing. My curiosity was like a fever inside me. It's a great simile. My curiosity was like a fever inside me. That means it's making her like hot and warm from the inside, right? It's like just burning her up on the inside. Then, one morning, she was there, glancing about, and she looked straight up at this window. I pulled my head back behind the curtain. I wasn't sure if she had seen me. If she had, she wouldn't leave her treasure buried for long. Then I knew I'd have to dig it up before she did, right? Because Anna still thinks that Kim has buried drugs or money or something else that she keeps checking on. I waited an hour after she left. Then I took an old butter knife and my cane and hobbled down all 3 flights of stairs. I worked my way through that awful jungle of junk and finally came to her spot. I stooped down. It was wet there and easy digging. I hacked and dug, but I didn't find anything except for a large white bean. I tried a new spot and found another, then a third. Then the truth of it slapped me full in the face. I said to myself, "What have you done?" 2 beans had roots. I knew I had done them harm. I felt like I had read through her secret diary and had ripped out a page without meaning to, because she's accidentally dug up these beans that Kim had planted. I laid those beans right back in the ground, as gently as sleeping babies. Another simile. This book is full of similes and metaphors. As gently as a sleeping baby. Then I patted the soil as smooth as could be. The next morning, she was back. I peeked around the curtain. She didn't look up here or give any sign that she noticed something wrong. I could see her clearly this time. She reached a hand into her school bag. Then she pulled out a jar, unscrewed the lid, and poured out water onto the ground. That afternoon, I bought some binoculars. So she buys binoculars at the end of the chapter because she is planning to continue watching Kim and continue watching to see what happens. Because Anna has always been a watcher, right? She says, why do I need TV when I have 48 apartment windows to watch across the vacant lot and a sliver of Lake Erie? So she's always entertained herself by sort of watching what goes on. She says, I used to watch the coal brought up by the handsome lad, so now she's going to watch the development of this garden. And we will catch a little glimpse of Anna later in the book. And I am going to keep our Wendell chapter until tomorrow. But Anna and Wendell are the only 2 characters that we see appear in a chapter together, and they're named by the other person. So that's kind of fun. That's it for Seedfolks today. We have installment 2 of What's Happening in Our Community Garden. What questions do you have for me today about what's going on at school? I posted, so type them up. I'm going to keep chatting. I posted information in my story about the food delivery program. So if you need more information on the food delivery service, just get in touch with me. I can send that to you. I have links. I believe there was an email sent home yesterday that I also posted about if you need to go into Whitcomb. Today's the day you have to sign up for a slot. But if you left something there, if you need a Chromebook charger or a water bottle or whatever, you can sign up to go in to grab those. And we just got an email. The only other question I got yesterday was about grades, and we just got an email that's like, they've decided to not make a decision about grades yet. So if you have questions about grades, I would say get in touch with the teacher that you have the question for, and they can do your best to answer. They can do their best to answer your question, which they might not be able to do. But what are all these fun notifications that are happening at the bottom of my screen? Oh, is Anna... Wow, Hadley, how did you do that? Is Anna Romanian? She hinted at it strongly. That's an excellent question. We're going to go back to the text. Hadley, are you looking at the text? Possibly, probably. If you are, let's check back in. Is she Romanian? She hinted at it strongly. I don't know if we can know that for sure, but she definitely does give us that inference, or all the information to make that inference, right? So she says, we moved here, so they moved there when she was 4. Oh, yes, it says, the handsome lad from Groza, the village my parents were born in. Hadley Googled Groza real fast. Gibb Street was mainly Romanians back then. And I looked this up once. In the text, it says Romanian. We say Romanian. I guess either way is actually acceptable. So Hadley's Googling Groza, but I'm assuming that it's really hard to do all these things at once. So I'm going to, let's see. Yes, you are hanging on my laptop screen in case you were wondering. Yes. Yes. Yes, she's Romanian. It looks like Groza is a place in Romania. Oh, Ukraine. Well, the borders. This book was written about 25 years ago, I want to say, so a little bit has changed since the book was written, but yeah, great question. And then this other notification was, okay, I just wanted to, yeah, maybe we can try going live together at some point. Not today, obviously, but okay, that was all I have for you. If you have questions, let me know through here or through Classroom or whatever. And I will keep posting stuff on here. That's information that will be useful for you. I'm also highlighting it all on like, where the highlights go. And that is it for us for today. So a quick little 15-minute lesson. I'll be posting this. So hi to all of you who are watching after the fact. And that's all I have for you. So I will see you later. See you tomorrow at 9:30. We will read Wendell. Hopefully it will be magically sunny. Have a lovely day, my friends, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.